thank you for joining me again. My name is Carlos. Today we're going to be getting into an arm and shoulder session. Yes, arms do get their own special day, and so do shoulders. Obviously, shoulders should have their own special, workout session. I'm not doing the heavy overhead presses at this stage because I'm focusing on the very heavy incline Smith bench presses, and so they don't leave me that much energy to recuperate to make gains on the chest, so I have suspended the overhead press. So, leaving a special day for your arms. What are the benefits? Well, first of all, you can get in a lot more volume. And as I'm trying to get into condition, when you're trying to get into your leanest state possible, you will be in a calorie deficit. If you are in a calorie deficit, that means you will not be able to or should not be pushing the heaviest weights possible. So you have to make a compromise of training as hard as you can with somewhat lighter weights. Now, this is a misconception I will be getting into in just a moment. You have to be training with a higher volume to compensate with the lower intensity due to the less energy from the calorie deficit. But it's not the lighter weights that create a conditioned physique. By no means is this true. You need to lift as heavy as possible. The thing is, when you're in a deficit, it's not possible to lift as heavy as you used to when you're eating 4,000 or 5,000 calories. If you eat that much, depends on your body size and what you're doing in your off season. But as the deficit is being more and more accentuated as we progress week after week, it's not that I'm losing energy. I'm plenty energetic, but I need more volume on certain areas. So arms. Today, arm session. The emphasis with the arms is moving fast from set to set, not resting more than 90 seconds. As I've been teaching and preaching and showing on my other videos, when you're doing heavy compound lifts and going for PRs, you're going for strength, you want to build up size, muscle mass, you need to rest adequately between sets. Your breathing, your cardio will recuperate much faster than your cellular mitochondria and your ATP. You need to give it more time so you can have peak output with your maximum set, so you can have more strength. The faster you go, the less strength you're going to have for your set. So if you rest properly, you'll be able to hit, be more capable of hitting PRs. Now, in this particular case, since we're getting into condition, we want to get lean, and the thing is to do as much volume and as much work in a short amount of time as possible. We lower the rest periods between sets from 3 to 4 minutes, sometimes 5 if it's a squat or a deadlift. We'll bring it down to 1 minute, 90 seconds. We'll do some drop sets where there are no rests. We'll do cluster sets where you rest 5 to 10 seconds. And this type of scenario where you're just doing a lot of work in a short period of time. Also, the weights come down, but that's pretty relative. So like today on my rear dumbbell flies or raises, or whatever you want to call them, I worked up to 65 pounds. 65-pound dumbbells are fairly heavy. They're very heavy. And to do these, I feel it's pretty strenuous. I work with 20s, I work with 35s, I work with 50s, with 65s. I do different tempos. Sometimes I'll just attack the weight. Because I believe it's very important to have aggression as a major component in your weightlifting routine. Aggression needs to be your friend. You need to attack the bar with aggression. That doesn't mean ballistic. Don't be stupid. Don't misunderstand. It does not mean being sloppy. It means being aggressive, which means grabbing the bar and just lifting as hard as possible. Not spazzing out, not doing something uncontrollable, but being aggressive with the weight. This will produce greater results. I see many guys at the gym, especially the new guys. This is how they're taught. Okay, keep it under control. This is the tempo you want to do it in. 2 seconds up, 4 seconds down. And once they're taught, they're bound, they're set in stone. That's the way they will do it like forever. They'll never understand the concept of pumping the weight, of moving fast, of hitting weight with proper aggression, with proper speed, always doing things so strictly. This hyper strict form is killing your gains. It's killing your potential. It's stifling your best version of yourself. Doing things so ultra strict is just, in my opinion, absolutely backward. Now that may sound like a heresy. You go to the gym and you have to have proper form. Proper form is what it's all about, right? Yeah, sure. I mean, you don't want to hurt yourself. You should have somewhat proper form. But then you go and see the real bodybuilders, how they're doing it. Not all of them, of course. Some of them are very, they're sticklers for proper technique. But I'm looking at Branch Warren. I'm looking at, Branch Warren was a nut. With these 100-pound dumbbells and he's swinging them up like that. He said, whoa, 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 Branch, don't do it like that. No, that's not how it's done. Arnold Classic winner, one of the most muscular, dense physiques of all time. Most of these guys that build real muscle, they're not finessing the weights. They're not doing these newbie, they taught me how to do this, now this is how it's done. No, man, they grab these weights and they're just moving them, They're heavy weights. And they need a little bit more body English. But that body English is compensated by the weight to really overload the muscle. But most people will never know that because they will never try to do those heavy weights, because once they have quote unquote form breakdown, they'll have some supervisor or some trainer come, lower the weight, and it's over. Go train by yourself one day, and don't listen to anybody that says to lower the weight. Try 20 more pounds. What, you barely got by with the 65s? Why don't you give the 75s a try? Just for fun. Come on. Experiment a little. Oh my God, I actually got the 75s up. Whoa. Yeah, you used your back. You used all these other muscles. So what? So freaking what? You got a lot of body English into it. The next time, it's much more strict. And then one day, maybe you do 50s like super robotic. But you'll never know if you don't give it a try. And you'll never give it a try because you always got some overseer, some overlord, on you saying, lower the weight. That's not proper form. Proper form. Go shove it with the proper form. Now, I'm not saying train sloppy. Just train as hard as you can. So anyways, that was my little rant for today. So getting back to the arm day, moving quick from exercise to exercise, doing supersets. You can do the biceps, then go and do a triceps move. One more tricep, one more bicep, another tricep, different angle, then the shoulders. Shoulders, I did 12 different sets. On the rear, on the front, on the side, and most of these were isolateral moves, which means one arm at a time. One arm at a time gives the benefit of greater isolation, and you can use a slightly heavier weight with greater isolation. Example, on the front delt raise with the dumbbells. I anchored myself, grabbing onto the machine, and then just trying to move my arm like a crane. Like a crane would lift a bucket. You got a bucket here, and it's like the crane, right? And this is the movement that you want to do, but really focusing on the front delt. Now, before I was using the 35ers, the 25s. Today it was 40s, and it felt easy. It felt easy. I got 17 reps. Did a few sets with those, 15, 17 reps. Next week it's 45s, because it is about the weight. When people, it's not about the weight. It is about the weight. The weight is what builds the muscle. The mechanical tension is what produces the stimulus for greater muscle mass. Or else people would just do 15s really fast all day long and get huge muscles, but that's not how it's done. They go up to 50s, 60s, 70s. Why? Because it's all about the weight. This is weightlifting. You have to lift weight. The more weight you lift, the more muscle you're going to make. So I know there's a lot of people out there who would love to believe that lifting light weights and making a lightweight feel heavy is the way to go. Continue. Just keep on doing whatever you're doing. Go ahead. I don't care. I'm here to say that this is what I'm doing. I'm lifting heavier, and I'm getting better. Certainly getting stronger, that's for sure. Keeping track of the diet. Quick note on the diet. Track and log everything. I log my calories, my macros, my body weight. I weigh everything. I cook all my food. So in the morning I get up, before I eat, after I, my fasted weight, my last moment before I sit down for my first meal or my sip of whatever, I go and weigh myself. That's my morning weight. I log in my calories, my macros for the day, and I average out the body weight over the last 15 days. It should not be below 2 pounds. It should not go above 3 pounds. If it goes above 3 pounds, I have to increase my carbohydrate. Why? Because my protein is always the same. It's always the same. It's always 2 pound plus of meats and 7 egg whites. It's always the same. Either chicken, pork, meat, or any variation of some protein. Basically, it's all the same. Between 225 and 275 grams of protein a day. It stays constant all the time. So if I'm dropping too fast, I eat more carbs, especially for breakfast and all throughout the day. If the weight loss stalls and in an average, if you're taking averages, you shouldn't really be stalling, because some days you'll go up, you go down, and this thing, and people who look at the weight scale every day, I gained a pound, you have to average it out. You have to be patient. You have to be smart. You have to be data driven. So once you have the averages don't lie. 194, 191, 193, 193, 192, 195, and over the last 15 days, you lost 2 pounds on average. That is your weight loss. I lost 2 pounds. Not what the weight scale says on any particular day. It's your average. And so if it's not dropping fast enough, and you should be keeping an eye on this before you hit the 15 days, to hit your goal every single period that you have on your Excel sheet, then you drop your carbs. I'm not a big fan of dropping with cardio, although I am doing cardio. I do cardio. It gives us a different look to the body. Of course, you'll be burning more calories. For me, if I do cardio, since I train so hard, it can interfere with my training sessions. And for me, lifting is my primary goal, and the cardio is secondary. It's hard for me to sweat. I live on a hill. I live at 9,000 foot altitude. I live on a hill, on a 6-story building with no elevator. And I walk up and down this hill constantly. I'm constantly on my feet. I really don't have a problem with cardio. I can do an hour on the Stairmaster or an hour on the treadmill, and it takes me almost like 25 minutes to start breaking a sweat. At almost 4 and a gradient of 8.5 to 12. And so that's where most people would start gassing at 10 to 12 minutes. It takes me like 25 minutes to start breaking a sweat. So cardio is not something that I'm really hung up on, that I really need, but I do include it. It has its own special day. So, the diet, a little bit of cardio in my case, and the weights have to be as hard and as heavy as possible, giving room for greater volume. Now, of course, since we're training for greater volume, your intensities will be slightly reduced. So that's basically it. Now, today's session, I will leave the narrated video after this presentation, and I'll go over every single exercise and what's going on with the movements and the techniques, the whys, and all the ins and outs and all the insights. And that'll be all for today. God bless everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, share, and we'll see you in the next video. So today, arm day. Arm gets its own special day along with delts. And today's it's a fun day. It's a different day from the heavy compound PR striving sessions. This is more pump, moving quickly from set to set. I didn't record every single set I did. I do 4 to 5 sets of each of these exercises that are being shown there. And this is the pace that I'm working on. and working at when doing my arm session. I'm in the middle of a deficit starting week number 7, and been dropping steadily, everything's going according to program. So we're stepping up the volume, and arms get their own special day along with the delts. Here we really focus on the rear delts today, and basically just doing fly movements, rear delt, front delt, side laterals. Because we've given up the overhead presses on the shoulder day, I'm doing very heavy inclined Smith presses on chest day, and so that's enough heavy pressing for 1 week, striving for a PR. So here, just getting in that work volume, still trying to do heavy weight though. I mean, heavy for me, 50 pounders, 65-pound dumbbells. Most people don't like to use these type of heavy dumbbells. They stay between 25 and 40 pounds to get a nice, the technique and everything. My particular, view on this is that you should get as strong as possible on every exercise. Obviously, you're not going to be doing 150-pound dumbbell side laterals, but, I have seen pros go up to 80s, 90s. So 65 is not unreasonable. And here we're doing with the 50s. And, getting a great pump with these 50s. It really is congesting the rear delt, subjectively as I am doing this exercise. I'm feeling the burn, it's absolutely working. You don't need to be so freaking strict. I mean, that's so pedantic. Sure, you teach newbies and people that are new at the gym the absolute most strict way of doing things, but that's not the way to build muscle. I mean, to build muscle, you have to get aggressive with the weight. You have to use progressive overload. There has to be a certain aggression, and in that aggression, if you're compromising your aggression and your oomph, your chutzpah to really just go after it, because you're bound to this super strict, ultra, strict technique, that's a fallacy. Top bodybuilding trainers, they say, weight over technique, even though that sounds like wrong, it's absolutely the way to go. You need to attack the weight with decent weight. So here, starting out the side laterals with the 25-pounders. Again, not trying to do them so strict and slow. I don't like to do that. Any of these exercises super slow. I do sometimes, but I don't feel the same benefit as when I attack the weight. Like here, my last few reps, the muscle just won't move. Why? Because it's completely worked. It's congested. Speed congests the muscle much faster than doing slow reps. Time under tension would be extending the set, doing some extra reps. And of course, you slow down because you can't go fast. You're tapped out. So here we're working the 40s. Again, we move to the front lateral raises with the 40s. Just securing myself, getting myself in a really comfortable position to isolate the delt. Now here it's all about mind muscle, and the 40-pounders feel great. I think I'll move up to 45s next week. These 40s just felt groovy, man. It just felt like I was moving my shoulder as if a crane was lifting a bucket or something. It was like completely mechanical, biomechanically perfect in my subjective opinion. I'm the guy doing the lifting there. Of course, when you look at it from a distance, you can find fault with just about any technique or anything, unless it's a robot mechanically moving a piece of, an object. But here, it's my muscle, it's the front delt, it's such a crane-like movement. I was feeling really good with these exercises today. And of course, anchoring myself with the other arm really helps. And doing them isolaterally, one arm at a time, is really the way to go, in my opinion. It takes longer, but so what? Here we're doing the triceps extension with the dumbbell with the 90-pounders. I've been working the 105s, but the 105s I can only get between 5 and 7 reps on a good day. And so with these 90s, we're working between 10 and 12. Again, it's about more work volume in the calorie deficit to achieve greater muscularity. Here, this exercise, I haven't done these in a few weeks, few months actually. And these provide a greater focus and stress on the upper bicep. They isolate the bicep to a greater degree than if you were standing. I've been doing the concentration curls and preacher curls. Today decided to do a different variation, doing the inclines. And the 35s felt easy. They felt very comfortable. Once you tap out in the tandem, you go iso, one side at a time. If you want to intensify, you can stand up and get some extra reps. Here, just change the angle for the second set. And on the second set, I definitely hit I reached failure. You know, I got to the point where I just couldn't move my arm. And so here, doing a few more reps. A few more reps. Keep on going. The burn, man. I mean, my arms were just like, no more. I can't. Tried, and I couldn't lift it. Then we went to these rear delt cables. Last week I was doing them in tandem, both arms at the same time. Today I decided to do them isolaterally, and much better. Much better as far as focusing on the shoulder. And I'm feeling my shoulders are getting thicker. I mean, I can see them here, like the left shoulder that's hanging on and supporting is starting to look, more massive. And, so it's definitely working. These routines that I've been doing are definitely working. Here I just added a little bit more weight right in front of the pin, so it's very easy to change the weights. And I mean, I can sit here and do drop sets all day long, but really the idea is to just focus on that rear delt. Just focus, stretch and contract, stretch and contract. Felt great. I mean, what can I say? Starting to look for new exercises, although I stick with the tried and true basics that have worked for me over, the last few years. But there's nothing wrong with adding a few different exercises here and there and experimenting. I think I'll be using this more and more. This in conjunction with the dumbbell rear delts. Like I did do 4 sets, which I did not get on film. I just filmed 1 set, but it was like I worked extensively with those dumbbells. And then to do these cables as a finisher, my delts were really pumped. With the front delt, side delt, my whole shoulder girdle was feeling great. And here, doing the isolaterals, it's much easier to isolate the shoulder from the trap. And that's the thing. I mean, nothing wrong with building out your traps, man. So what? Oh, you get some traps involved. Great. Add some more weight and build it all up. That's the most asinine thing I've ever heard but your traps will get built out. Or don't do that exercise because it's not this muscle that's really working. It's that other. So what? You want to build them all. Now, if the idea is to truly focus and really isolate, do them one side at a time, like I'm doing here. I mean, this is all rear delt. This is like, it's like disengaging from the socket, and then it's pulling down, and really no other muscle, very little, extra muscle involvement at all. It's all just the muscle being targeted, the rear delt. And so that's how this session was going. It was just fast moving, fast reps, fast sets. Decent amount of weight, 40s are decent, 50s, 65ers, and here on the cables, not really so concerned with the weight, just trying to get the feel and the groove. I already got in my volume training with the heavier weights, and here it's all about just gnarling up that rear delt. And, I know from experience that this will work. A few days from now, a few weeks from now, if I continue with this exercise, my rear delts will be highly pronounced, along with the deficit. You don't get muscular from the exercise. You get muscular looking from your deficit diet by dropping your body fat. If you're high body fat, there's no exercise. It's going to make you look muscular. I mean, people have it so backward. They go to the gym to work out to get muscular, and they ignore their diet. It's all about the diet. Lose the body fat, and then you'll look different. Now here, last exercise of the session, front cable delts, and that was it for today. Just feeling really good. Great session. Can't wait to do it again and again and again. That's the repetitive nature, but it's also the addictive nature of this activity. Anyways, thanks for joining me on this journey. Hopefully we will be progressing, showing improvements, showing that, we have been accomplishing something. And God bless everybody. Thank you for all your support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, post notifications, and we'll see you in the next video.